what can I craft? I know I've got 3 people that have fatigue. What can I craft? What can I upgrade? So, to analyze. So now what do I have blueprints for? Get off the computer, cat. Light blood serum. I'm going to generate 6 blood points instantly, which requires... Cat, you do not help. Oh, how do I Kleenex nearby? I got to get some Kleenex. Got a stuffy nose. Got a stuffy nose, cat. I do. Regenerate 300 points instantly, then 150 points over 15 seconds. That's the light regeneration serum. Requires 1 glass vial, of which I have 24. Watery requires 1 watery sturdy blood sample, of which I have 7. Requires ferrous tartrate, which I have 2, or 2 ferrous tartrate, which I have 39. And sodium hypochlorite solution, which I have 8, 2 of those. Okay, fatigue. I can requires quinine, ferrous tartrate, and sodium hypochlorite. Anemia and sepsis. Those are all their hypochlorite. The respiratory stuff: cold, bronchitis, and pneumonia. Clove, which I haven't found. Codeine, which I've heard of but haven't found. Potassium permanganate. Okay, 1 hand. Used hacksaw. 5 damage, 58 damage. 99 damage. If I could figure out how to parry. Level 2, I need 2 more common handle parts and more lead rods. Common handle parts. Go to level 3 with this. Common handle parts. So this is 5 blood absorption or 10 stun. I think the stun is probably better. At least for right now. Tiny handle part, yeah, so let's upgrade this. Increase stun or enhance handling. Okay. Firearms. 5, 160. Recyclable. I get glass vial and ferrous sulfate, cigarette case, aluminum and aluminum, glass vial. Okay. Is that all I can do there? I think so. So what else do I have kind of here? I have local investigations. I don't have anything here. In the docks, I've got 1 completed and 3 active. So what do I have here? I have to reach the pharmacy. Find the cause of death, and that's at the morgue, so I can go back to the morgue. Determine what the Pre-1 agents have discovered. It's healthy. And he's recovering. I could cure him. I think there's one more that had fatigue that I know of. That's him. Edgar Swansea just asked me to meet Lady Ashbury and help her in any way I can. The woman appears to be the Pembroke's main benefactor, and the administrator simply cannot afford to lose her support. I'm to meet the lady now, who is visiting the sick and poor somewhere in the tents outside the building. Her reputation has been threatened, jeopardized by a blackmail of some sort, and I need to protect her good name. For the good of the hospital, of course. Succeeded. Stuff. I think I've read everything. And then I've just found 2 collectibles. Well, let's go. And see. Get at that person yet?
I will not let you down, my boy.
Still can't get in there.
Fear and disgust on every stick.
Let's see if I can find my way back. Sodium hypochlorite solution. So what if I cross this bridge? Where do I go? So I'm back into Whitechapel, which I don't really want to go. That's my room, right? Yeah, that's my room. opium. Crumpled letter. Ah! Clay Cox. Clay Carey is married to Edwina Cox. Crumpled letter. I'm tired of your shit, Clay. What the fuck did you do? All the bloody docs are gossiping about how my husband has just got that stupid kid. How many times did I tell you to count to 20 before drawing your blade? How can we expect to do proper business and have people obey if you keep on killing everyone who dares cross you? Now rumor says some blokes from the dead's family are looking for you, and one of them even swore to kill you. Don't come home tonight. I've seen strange men patrolling the streets. They may be some commie militia or something like that, sent to arrest you. Go to a safe place for a few days. Maybe go to the hospital or Whitechapel. Make yourself useful for once by checking if any business could be settled over there. When the situation is calmer, I'll send a wet boot boy so that you know when to come back, Edwina.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Is there anything more to say? Required.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Okay.
What must I do? What must I do? This is...
Who's this?
Please, sir. I need help bad.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight. I've lost my mate. Can't find him anywhere.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. Please, calm down and give me more details.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but... well, we had a disagreement. And Oswald ran off towards the canal.
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking rats. Can't stand them since the war, sir. Can't stand them at all.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived the trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend. What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm Oswald's best friend. We served in the same regiment, sir. Taken care of each other since we came back from the front.
What can you tell me about your friend?
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is... nervous and quite fragile since we came back from the war.
Where was your friend the last time you saw him?
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital. I think he went to the sewers on purpose. So I couldn't go after him.
This is a dangerous part of town. What are you doing here?
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital. We both need help. Treatment, I mean. To get some sleep. Just need to feel better, sir.
Blood quality, he's healthy. Mesmer's level 3. Newton's phobia of rats has prevented him from rescuing his missing friend. And he's the...
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything out about your friend, I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
people. Let's see, Broke. Hospital. He's the pillar, so he has to send one. Edgar, Swansea. 3. Hint. Clay Cox. Murderer. Fatigue. Hint. Found. Hint. Then you go to the top row. And if I go this way, where do I go to? This will get me to the docks. This will get me to the docks. Now I've been in here. There's really not much in here. Let's see. Where are we at? Poplar Faubourg. Penrose Hospital. Okay. There's a blood trail there, which is up here.
I cannot enter.
Does this blood trail go to? Proven rookie, level 10. Well, I am nowhere near level 10, so I'm not doing that. Stay-at-home influenza, frequently complicated with pneumonia. To prevent it in any case of Spanish flu, stay at home. I'm only a level 5 or something. Not even. Proven cadet. Proven
Best
rookie.
stay back, sir.
Yeah,
Step
fine.
away, sir.
This won't get me anywhere. So... down along... Well, I came by boat. That's right. I didn't walk.
Good about that poor fellow in the water.
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. Still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
Why does he want revenge?
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favour.
Uh-huh. But Clay had murdered the brother of the man who tried to kill him.
Only the strongest survive, then? Survival at all costs. Is that all you think about?
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reed. And I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton, I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, all like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
Oh, he's fatigued, but I don't have any cures on me.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
We can't escape the consequences of our actions. The past catches up with us in the end.
I ain't afraid of death. I don't hide who I am. I live my life honestly, which is more than I could say for most folks.
And who are you, then?
I'm the leader of the Wet Boot Boys. One day, I'll leave this shitty place and punch in the face all who thought I would not come back.
What can you tell me about your marriage, Clay?
Marriage is the sweetest cage, they say. Well, I found myself locked in one with a wild animal.
You mean your wife keeps you on your toes?
No, I mean, we both have claws and we both love to bite.
Am I right to assume your wife's letter pissed you off, Clay?
I was so mad, I threw away the knife she got me when we got married.
Your wife gave you a knife as a wedding present.
That knife has always been my lucky charm. If I'd had it in my hand when I got stabbed on that pier, I'd not have been wounded.
A lucky charm? I never would have taken you as the superstitious type.
We all have our flaws, Doc. Mine's to have my weapon of choice for when the really dirty business comes around.
Do you want it back?
I don't need it here, but if you'd be kind enough to bring it to me, I'd be really grateful.
A grateful Clay Cox? I might just find your knife and bring it back to you to see that happen.
I can give you directions, but I'll be surprised if you manage to find it. My hideout isn't meant to be found easily.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in the hospital?
Blackmail? That's not my style. Too risky. The black market, though. Now that's where the money is.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Okay. Found a few things there. Well, what do we have? Mr. Cox. I now have all of his hints. Clay considers his knife, the knife his wife gave him, as his lucky charm. Kay intends to remain as gang leader after his recovery. What does this get? Go out that way. Opium. Opium. Mutant Blight, so he was up there, now he's down.
It's locked, all right.
I cross over the bridge that gets me into Whitechapel, so it might be an idea. Been in here. Aluminum powder. Finsbury Gate, West End, stable. So if I want to get back to various docks, basically follow along here. Quarantine influenza. Keep out of this area by order of the Board of Health Officer. Am I going the right direction? Yeah.
Stay away! Well, what do I have? So I don't know if I can get there yet. Track. Hospital. So, I know I can count on you. I wish I could say the same for the others.
You look exhausted. You're pushing yourself too hard. You don't have to.
Okay, let's go back into the morgue. Right, pussycat? Right, pussycat? Pussycat, pussycat? Hello, my pussycat. Oh. Ralph? Ah. Oh, hey. Looks like it's downstairs. Watch. Last file. I got to mean. Couldn't remember which one was the button. I may have to go and get sleep. Oh no, too many. Okay. We will come back later. They're too high and there's too many of them. What, Maro? Okay. Sodium hypochlorite and quinine and sodium hypochlorite. Okay. Ow, you need your nails trimmed, cat. Keep digging them into my leg. Okay. Details. I may have found an interesting way to finally see the irritating and vindictive Clay Cox become a gentler soul of sorts. He confessed he would be relieved to retrieve his favorite knife, the one his wife offered him as a wedding present, and that he considers his lucky charm. He told me he left the blade in some sort of hideout. I really don't know if I should bring such a weapon to such a man, but to see a grateful Clay Cox, I'm tempted to take the chance. Track. Where is it? All the way up. Oh, no. So that's... a little bit outside my range. Let's Harriet. So that's on the other side of the hospital grounds. This way. Fallbergs. Serious. Oh, grand piano. There, so what are they? Join the ranks, your king.
Over there! There's one of them burning!
It helps if I actually use the right controls that I want to.
It's the killer!
shard. Lead rod. Small bag of junk. There we go. Survey mission. 25th of October from Guard of Prywin Command Post to East End Patrols. Object Vampire activity. Hospital. Survey investigate. 3 days ago, one of our new recruits heard a rumor about the presence of a female vampire hiding in the Pembroke Hospital. London East End. All we have is her first name, Thelma. Your mission is to discreetly go there and observe any suspicious activity concerning said leech. Then report directly back to us and we will decide what action should be taken. Hint for Thelma. Thelma is suspected by the Prone agents to be a real vampire. Vital part, bag of alcohol. Bullets 2. Shillings. Find the local command post of the Guard of the Prywin. All the way over there. Okay, well, let's go back to the hospital then, I think. Let's see. How many fatigue can I make? 1, 10. Make one for clay. Still can't upgrade anything, I don't think. So I need handles. Right? Yeah, I need 3 of those. I need 3 of those. I need 3 of those. Enhanced damage. Do that. Or enhanced handling, decrease. Oh. Enhanced handling. Increase stun. What do I have here? Bag of junk. Recycled lead plate, lead. Okay. Body, blood. Big thirst. Extra blood capacity. You can now carry 3 serums on you. Increase the number of bullets you can carry. Get your life in... Autophagy, autophagy. Don't think I've got... $300, $300, $250. $1,000. $600. $1,000. Spring. 500 could be useful. Shadow Veil. 500 could be useful. Okay, well, I think I'm happy with what I've got. But I don't think I want to do... Oh, hello. Claws, 220 damage, 190 blood. Vampire wields the blood and throws it like a sphere. Let's do claws first. And as natural vampires have received some gifts from the Mother Nature, with like claws instead of fingernails. These natural weapons can easily cut through tissue and are very useful for piercing a prey's arteries. Okay. Let's go back and do that. I was wanting to do that. Fighting. So I have 2100. Increase your blood capacity. Start here with this one. What does it say? The common belief that vampires can disappear into thin air is misleading. Rather, they can greatly increase their speed with blood, moving so fast that to human eyes it appears they appear and reappear at will. Correctly used, this ability can be offensive or defensive, depending on the vampire's state of mind. first. To go to the next one, that's 1300. 600 blood barrier. Vampires are afraid of suffering damage. Vampires afraid of suffering damage are familiar with the hardiness ability. This blood ability will protect the vampire from direct damage. Unfortunately, it does not stop them from being grabbed by enemies. Okay. I think I'm okay. So to do that one, I need how many? 300, okay. Following night. What? The consequences of error affect. The more you have in lives you take, then healthy the district becomes. Drops below the critical threshold, it will plunge into chaos. It is for you to decide the district's fate. I can make. Alright. Okay. So serums. Okay. Body condition. So those are the serums. Okay, let's see, what do I want to... If I want to do Thelma's, where's her new office? On the other side of Whitechapel. I'm level 8, so I've improved. My combat still probably sucks.
I will not let you down, my boy.
This
Let's
hospital seems to
see.
be falling
Good evening,
apart.
sir.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Let's see what she has to say. now
Good
that this
evening,
one's
Doctor.
helping.
How is my son doing?
Hit required, hit required, hit required.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Have you heard rumors of blackmail going on in this hospital?
Dr. Reed, are you trying to take advantage of me?
Of course not, Mrs. Goswick. I'm just curious.
Well, go be curious somewhere else, please.
Okay,
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
let's see what her son has to say. now that
Good
he's
evening,
feeling
Mr.
better.
Goswick. How
How are you?
I'm okay.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here?
I'll answer this
She
question.
seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Have you heard rumors about blackmail in this hospital?
No?
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Does he say anything new?
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Have you heard talk of any blackmail here at the hospital?
No. Nothing.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Not that unusual.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
I'm all right. We can handle this. Don't waste your time.
Does she have anything new to say?
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
General questions? About the patients, about the epidemic?
What can you tell me about our patients here at Pembroke?
This hospital was founded to help the East End poor and needy. But since the war and the quarantine, we've had all manner of folk.
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elderly, dock workers. We even have a few mental patients. If there's space, we take them.
What can you tell me about the epidemic, Nurse Crane? I've been out of touch since I've come back to England.
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them. Not as long as the war is raging on, anyway.
News on the front stated that the Spanish flu was under control, at least in Britain.
It seemed to be for a while, but that was only last summer. It returned with a vengeance just over a month ago.
Okay, let's go back. Additional questions?
For how long have you been working here, Nurse Crane?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911, a few months after Dr. Swansea was appointed.
And before you arrived here?
If you must know, this was my first job.
She's not from
Well,
around
Dr.
here, though.
Swansea certainly has confidence in your abilities. Are you in charge of the nursing staff?
Not in an official capacity, but the Pembroke doesn't always work above board, so to speak.
How is the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a silent tear.
What about medical protocols?
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and resources here at the Pembroke like they do in the West End. We do what we can.
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
Tell me, Waverley, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Other people may say that's too conservative a point of view.
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to happen if the surgery is a failure.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. but I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Back. Personal questions.
What do you think of Dr. Tippett's opinion of your promotion, Waverly?
Tippett is a good practitioner. Maybe just a little too attached to his prestigious position at the Pembroke Hospital.
Really? That's exactly his diagnosis of you. A little too eager to get promoted? A little bit too proud?
He has the right to think so. But I deserve this promotion, and I don't consider it anything but well-earned.
Okay, go back. Okay.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Who's this? Tippett's?
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
Have you heard any talk of blackmail going on in the hospital?
If you're running some official inquiry, you had better question the patients. They know more than the staff, especially old Miss Jones.
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently. Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
Okay.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Let's see if she's got anything new to say.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Coding. See what Milton has to say.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reed. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the oldest patient here.
Okay, I need to get that Harriet. Okay.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
So I can buy, what, a shotgun? It's 315, which I have 162. I can buy bullets for 1. Buy shotgun shells for 3. 32. I can sell. Okay. Let's go talk to Dr. Tippett.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
I have no time for such triviality, my dear colleague. We're here to save lives.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Got me. What is or got? Well, I know what it is. Codeine is a strong analgesic and antitussive. Yes, I knew that. This brand new drug that has strong vasoconstrictive properties is often prescribed to treat painful migraine attacks. Diluted and used with caution, potassium permanganate can be used for cleaning open wounds and skin infections. Its ingestion can provoke death.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that cabin.
Let's talk to Gwyneth.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Nothing new. Nothing new.
Goodbye, Nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
I've talked to. Pippa I've talked to. About the use of garlic and wooden stakes. Dear brothers, I must now draw your attention to an important point. The use of garlic as a protection against vampires. Let's be crystal clear on the subject. Garlic will never protect you against those creatures. No matter how fresh, how strong, and how smelly, garlic is totally useless as a defense. I can never say enough how damaging this novel of Bram Stoker has been. Yes, of course, population of Slavic countries place garlic cloves in coffins. Yes, of course, inhabitants of Santorini Island hang garlic on the windows. There would be so much to write about this place, and someday soon I hope to go back to the island to further explore the occult tradition. But that is not to protect the living from the devil. It is to let the dead know that they are aware of their malevolence. It is a symbol, nothing more, nothing less. So please, by all means, yes, wear garlic, show garlic, hang garlic, and tell the shadows that you are not afraid. But you are looking for supernatural. But if you are looking for supernatural protection, you will have to search much deeper than into the forgotten secrets of the occult tradition. For here is the truth, my fellow brothers. Garlic does not repel vampire, but all the fresh plants will hurt them, is as if their body could not stand presence of botanical elements. I have seen an enraged Vulp flee when whacked with a rose. Yes, a simple rose. I have witnessed a violent econ fall down and beg for mercy when struck by a wooden stake. I don't know why it is so effective, and I would give my left arm to find the answer to that mystery, but the truth remains nevertheless. Vampires are very sensitive to fresh herbs, plants, and woods. From Facing the Shadows and How and Why by Usher Taltree, Primate of St. Paul. Weakness of vampires. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard rumors of underhand dealings in the hospital?
If you want to know what's going on here, you better talk to Miss Jones. She knows everything. Especially what she shouldn't.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
I still can't get it, Miss Jones.
It's here again.
Hello again, Dr. Reed. I feel better already. Can I go soon?
I don't have anything more to add to what he's told me.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Routine.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Have you heard of any blackmailing going on within these walls?
I have no time for mortal games. My secrets are beyond their comprehension, Dr. Reed.
Tell me, Thelma, what do you really know about vampires?
I saw one and he saw me. I watched him hunt and kill. I saw his terrible wounds heal as his victim died. And then I knew I was saved.
You mean you actually saw a vampire? Here in London?
Yes. And it has been the answer to my pain. I must drink and kill to regenerate my decaying body. I am a vampire too.
You have no idea what problems your claim could cause if heard by the wrong people, Miss Howcroft. You must stop this nonsense now.
Why fear the truth? Strange things live in the dark, Dr. Reed. Strange and ancient beings that were here before this island even had a name.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
There's tartrate. Still can't get in there. There's tartrate. Rare species of vampires. As a scholar and exegete of ancestral writings, I would never insist that enough about the importance of taking legends and ancient folklores into account when searching for hints about hidden lost secrets. A common mistake is to take what we know for an established truth and use it to discard any contradictory material. For example, we must consider the possibility of undiscovered species of vampires and the necessity to rethink what we see as the established truth about the various types of immortals, based on what we know and what we've gathered through time. For how many centuries did we consider that vampire was a vernacular term for what we had learned to call econ, until the day four explorers of the Brotherhood found the proof in Siberia that Volcoids were lupine type of vampires? We considered these creatures to be linked to the mythological werewolf. Now we know it is not true. What about the rest? What about the Rakshasa from my homeland? What about the Chinese Jingxi or the Puchin of southern Chile? And without even leaving the beautiful Great Britain, what about the stories about bat-shaped women sometimes seen flying around St. James Church in Louth? What about the creature only identified as a disaster in some obscure testimonies, which tried to destroy London in 1666 by spreading plague all around the city? What about the Nimrod, the mythological figure of the restless vampire hunter, sometimes described by ancestral British econs as a legendary huntsman who only feeds on his prey's blood and could go unnoticed amongst the mortals and immortals? I tell you, my brothers, we can never be too sure of what we could find if only we could forget for a few minutes what we're supposed to already know. From Unveiling the Night by Usher Talltree, Primate of St. Paul.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
Well, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
Yuck.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
Second here. I can't see what I'm doing. Can't see what the questions are. Glasses are filthy. Okay. Well, the sun destroyed me. Must I kill?
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
How do Skalds come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skald?
A Skald is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
Okay,
we'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Let's see what do I have. So Edgar Swansea, I still don't have any of his hints. I only have one. I've got all 4 of his are found. Then the next group is Beatrice Goswick. Healthy. Hint. Hint. I found one of them. And I've got Mortimer, now he's healthy. Next group is tied by Fiddick. And they're all found. And then I've got There's 4 hints for Thelma. His hint. Where is back? He was back here, wasn't he?
I'm sorry you ended up on a plain and court medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
I cannot enter.
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
It's locked.
Lots of opium.
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench.
Oh, hello. Crumpled letter details. Dear love, I finally found the missing money for the fee asked by the ambulance driver to bring you to the hospital. Don't worry about nothing now except getting better, for I took care of everything. I asked some of our neighbors and they told me that this Mr. Hooks is something of an honest crook. He may ask for extra money in exchange for a bed, but the bed is then guaranteed. I'm sorry I refused to pay first. And I realize now that the important thing is that you get better soon. The Pembroke Hospital is a good place, I heard, despite the bad behavior of this Milton Hooks. I promise you that everything is okay now. I'll see you in your clean bed as soon as possible. With fondest love, Nicolay. So they're extorting shillings. Got to mean. A couple Milton runs rackets on some of the Pembroke's patients. So does she.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again. Have you heard of someone blackmailing people in the hospital? Pardon me, sir, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Please show me what you have to sell. Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Ferrous tartrate, sodium hypochlorite, codeine, calcium ergotamine, opium. Okay, well, let's go chat with Chicky Poo. And then we'll see if we can get any further. Now that I'm at level 8, but I do need some blood. We should go heal Buddy Boy. Well, let's go heal Buddy Boy first.
Hey, Doc.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Hey, Doc.
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox. I hope you're starting to take better care of yourself.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Oh, let's give him the
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be exploited.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Okay, there she is. Who's this person?
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a vamp... The lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
I believe you. She seems kind. I believe her.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Okay.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient, or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, Your Ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
So does she... So she doesn't pop up here. That's kind of curious.
We are overwhelmed. Horrifying epidemic.
Good evening,
I don't
Dr.
think there's anything answered, I don't think.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you heard rumors of anything underhand going on here at the hospital?
No, Doctor. Never.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
I didn't realize it was him.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Didn't realize it was him. Let's see what Waverly has to say.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings within the hospital?
I don't have time for such nonsense, Doctor. I've work to do.
Blackmail is a serious matter, Nurse Hawkins.
Everything is serious around here, Dr. Reed. Starting with patients who need me.
Are you certain? You seem nervous.
If you have something in mind, just speak up, Doctor. Otherwise, stop breathing down my neck.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Talk to Harriet first.
I wish I could be sick again.
How long's it going to take to fix me properly? A year?
The right to disapprove of our methods, and you will kindly apologize when you're feeling better.
Sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
I wonder why the Goswicks came here in the first place.
Liars and thieves!
Let's talk to her.
What? What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts lit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off, they are.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round. Miss Jones, greetings. How do we feel?
Again? Waking a poor old woman in her sleep? There isn't a poor life needs saving somewhere?
Now, I need to ask you a few simple questions.
Well, if you really must.
Why were you admitted?
If you could just tell me why you were admitted.
It's terrible, Doctor. What with a pain in my chest, coughing up blood, and I get awfully tired. Wouldn't be so bad if I hadn't lost my house and all.
I see.
No one comes to visit, you know. Not even my own flesh and blood.
Have you noticed any suspicious comings or goings?
It would be a great deal easier to make a list of things unsuspicious in this house of charlatans.
Come now, Miss Jones. Surely it's not that bad.
Have you no eyes? This hospital accepts all manner of souls, regardless of origin. The proper sick cannot heal. We're kept sickened by the refugees.
Everyone here is very capable. I have not seen any instances of unprofessionalism.
Thieves and murderers, the lot. People have gone missing here, you know. Poof, without a trace.
I'll come and visit you shortly. Good night, Miss Jones.
Okay. What do I know about Miss Jones? Miss Jones is... She's not in that house. Royal Garden Hall Theatre. Clyde Fitch presents Doris Fletcher, Sappho. Small bag of junk. Fine, Nurse
The
Pippa
patients and
Hawkins.
staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Disgust on every street corner.
Hello again, Dr. Reed. I feel better already. Can I go soon?
Nothing there.
Goodbye,
bad.
Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Disguised as a hospital.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
Okay, he's not much help.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Damn.
Dorothy.
Wasted too much energy for so little.
Hello, Dorothy.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
She could have said the truth.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
Okay.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Why did you do it?
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
How can you be affected by the misery around you, and be so heartless at the same time? Which is the real you, Nurse Hawkins?
I could ask you the same question, Dr. Reed. Are you more real when you lie to a dying patient, or when you grant him useless medication?
I think I've got everything from her.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Do I have any more hints from her? Pippa, where's Pippa? Still only have the two. Nurse Crane.
brilliant minds in London.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Callaghan fellow.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see the city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow we may be fighting for food.
Goodbye, Milton.
I thought last summer's epidemic was difficult.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that.
I wonder what your life will be.
Chances I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
So many deaths.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that. Okay, Jones, Sean, Waverly.
I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help. don't mind if I search your pockets. Do you, sir?
Huh.
You won't need any of these anyway. I'm not stealing from you, mister.
Thief.
I'm only redistributing your belongings to people who need them more than you. You see, no one has claimed your body, so it would be such a shame to bury you with your valuables. I will not forget you, sir. And I thank you for your generous donation.
Destination medic steals those that he. So I've got 2. Pippa, Milton, Gwyneth. Or just down by the docks.
Another night with the glorious battalion of Pembroke.
It's over there. How do I get over there?
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book. So never could keep anything from her.
Oh, back there. That's how you do it.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
What's this hint? Suicide. Quinine. I don't have blood. Ah. Quarantine. Hospital? Work. Attempted suicide. Oh, hello.